hii mwaka 2025 I'm doing my first solo performance at the theater.
Okay. Do you want to drop the date? That's
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I just drop now.
If you want to,
right. I'm doing my first ever solo performance in May, 31st of May and 1st of June. So nimekuwa mental health enthusiast, and being that I've been in that space, so I'm talking about how I got out of that space.
By enthusiast, you mean what exactly?
I mean, nearly go through depression, mental health, nini, then I got in. Bro.
Okay, sorry. What's on That's a silly question to ask, but because even like on my podcast, I don't know, but I didn't send you that because you didn't ask too many questions, but I focus on health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Nimesikia kwa intro.
Yeah. So, and most times I dissect, even when it comes to health, I always ask about like, not just physical, but mental.
Right.
But even what I know is like with most people who are in the industry, just entertainment in general, and things even with like acting. At times you've seen people going like through breakdowns, even like
most
online.
Of the time.
And we have to understand, Pia, like I've said this before, any person who's like an artist, you have to understand they're an introvert first before you see any other character, because this is somebody who isolates themselves to create something, to read, whether if it's a script, come up with a character, if you're a drawer, somebody who draws, somebody who writes music. Those are people who isolate themselves. True. And most of the time, they have to get deep in their head. So like when you're talking about something like that, what exactly are you talking about, especially when you say you're depressed? But what would depress you, especially when you got in the industry fresh and things seem to be like just going like your way, even though you have your own personal challenges, but what would drive you to that space?
So specifically what drove me to that space niko Netflix, mnanijua, alafu life haimatch, because unajua for the longest time industry yetu hailipi hivyo, and this is something our audience need to understand, that ukiniona Netflix, mimi mwenye nimedu volume mwenye niko Netflix, trust me, sijalipwa the same na msewa South Africa mwenye amedu Blood and Water, because our industry bado imekuwa ikiran na hiyo scarcity mentality. So tujakuwa tukipewa wathi yetu in the name of industry haina pesa nini, which ndio hiyo target keeping yenye ulikuwa unaongelea. So that it really took me to that space, because sikuwa na understand. I'm like, mimi ni star, mimi ni celeb, what's going on, mbona I match, mbona sipati job nini. So and I got into that space, nikakuwa depressed nini. Now when I got out of it, nikamwani turn into art. So nikaanza kuwa so interested in mental health, and then I understand as a creative, my mind is like one of the most powerful things I have, so I have to take care of it. And then I did my first show at the theater inaitwa Backstreet. Tulifanya, ilikuwa purely mental health, ndo maana show ndo maana naifanya May, because May ni time ya mental health.
It's a mental health month.
Exactly.
Okay.
We did Backstreet edition 1, which was purely mental health. So I think it's been a burning fire inside me just to talk about kitu, because naona venye nafanya creatives, we commit suicide, wase wanna get into drugs,
overdose and drugs especially.
And it's something, it's not my path really. So that is why nikakuwa enthusiast wa mental health. Nataka kujua more, niko kwa programs za mental health nini. And then 2025 ikakuwa the time that I wanna talk about me when I was in that space, so that I just wanna spread healing, kuambia mse unaweza toka kwa hiyo space.
And then also like another thing, because even just to piggyback on that, because I think even now you will see a lot of people, when they break down on social media, it's always about finances. And unfortunately, like even now, like I think maybe not unless like you're a doctor, even lawyer is not guaranteed. Even lawyers are not getting paid like, how they used to get paid. They wear suits and everything, but they're not getting like much by the way. But even now still, because you're still in the same industry and things have not changed, right? But how are you still able to sustain yourself? Because, like even now, if I see on Netflix, not me, but like you have those friends, they've seen you on Netflix, but those 5K urgently of phone calls, they'll have to start coming now.
Immediately imetoka.
Immediately. Now people have, those phone calls are coming. And at times it's people that actually your friends or family that will drive you to those spaces. But being that the industry has not changed, how are you just navigating to avoid like Nini? Like getting into still the same space? Because the pressure is not going to reduce. It's still going to be there.
It's going higher.
Yeah, it's still higher. And I'm guessing because now, like I've said, when I ask, like what's now the next pedestal that you want to conquer? But it's not just you. It's now the people who are also constantly asking you like, oh, when is your next big Nini? Utact tena. And then TikTok, you know how people are rude. People are so rude. Like, who you jacked tena nini? So I can only imagine. But how you just carefully navigating so that you don't get again into that. But we've seen if even people, and let's just take an example, like people who are like even abroad. And that's why I'm saying it's so sensitive for actors, because I don't really understand whether money is what the issue that drives them to that dark space. Because you have Charlie Sheen who was getting paid $1 million per episode.
For sure.
The other guy for Friends who committed suicide, he was also getting well paid. Even then they got like $1 million per episode. And we're talking about dollars. And then we come to who else was getting paid? Akina Robin Williams. And then unfortunately we have like there's this actor, I don't know if you saw, who's being interviewed by Larry Madowo. And I don't even understand, for somebody like him, he's acted for more than 20 to 30 years. But you see, he's still trying. He hasn't given up on his Nini. So how are you still trying to navigate, being that the industry has not changed and it might take time to change? How are you navigating to make sure that you don't get into that space at all? Because responsibilities are getting more, I'm guessing.
For sure. So, unakumbuka nikwambia, I'm now an artist who is an actor. So, the moment I realized that, nikaanza kufikiri in terms of how can I bridge the gap between me and the clients? How can I create when I'm not acting? So, being an artist imenifungua akili to the point that I'm able, because me sim to an 8 to 5, that's not me at all. I have to, like, art is my, it's my 8 to 5.
That's your calling.
So, exactly. 8 to 5. So what I did is nilikachini nika map out what can I do when I'm not acting. Ni nini naeza fanya. We found an event. Mini co-found our event inaitwa The Vibe 254. So that's one of my avenues.
You've tagged it on Instagram.
Yeah. It is. It's there. It's called The Vibe 254. So mini one of the founders, niko kwa Miller's Production as one of the creators. So I'm doing things zenye zina concern art. I have content produced for content creators. Ile unam create idea nini because I eat entirely from my mind. So at the moment I discovered that ikanipea wide scope ya. I create designs za manguo nini. So ikanionyesha when I'm not, because the goal ideally is I wanna act when I want to, because when I have to create it lazima ikuwe art, siwezi tu come set nini. And since it takes a lot, because unapata hata unaweza kuona lipwa your $1 million, but when you're bringing something to life or someone to life, it takes a lot of you. So utapata actor ameshindwa kutoka kwa hiyo space, maybe nimeshindwa kutoka kwa space ya Castro, so you lose yourself.
Because you've actually done it for so long.
Exactly, yeah.
That duration is, I'm guessing, months maybe.
Exactly. So you don't, huwezi jikumbuka vizuri, so unaanza kuishi life ya character. And then unapata
that's crazy.
Unapata umemalizana na hii, kazi next inakuja. Juu sina pesa na jump kwa hiyo kazi next, sijajipatia time ya kushed off the character to be myself. And then ni fill my cup, ndo ni go to the next one.
So you can actually end up getting stuck in a character in real life.
You can, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, Joker 1, Joker, Heath Ledger.
True.
Yeah.
True.
He was stuck in the character.
True.
Jimmy Carrey has talked about it. Venye, yeah, so ndo maana nasema chenye tunafanya is so spiritual that when I realized that inaweza ni break, nikasema, so the goal is to act when I want, when the ikialign na myself niseme, now I'm ready for the next one. True. And for me to call that shot, lazima iside ingine ikuwe imealign. Because unapata most of us kwa industry yetu, we take work just because unajua ndio na uwezi judge, because being in the space I understand. We leo uko na gig, kesho hauna. Unaweza go for 6 months bila gig, utadu nini? Gig ya ufale kikuja, you'll take it. You won't care ati sija. So unacha ku create, now you're just a puppet, unatumika tu ku bring characters to life, which is not who I am or what I want to do. Yeah, so the moment nilibridge your gap, I'm an artist and I'm gonna act when it is aligning and it's an important story that I need to tell. That's the next time utaniona on screen, because it has to make sense for me. So also pia chenye nisaidia, I have to say this, tunakuanga na hii pressure ya mtanisahau. So I have to do more work. So for me, what I say is, when I get that one character, I pour everything. Nikishaifanya, naenda napumzika. Na nika understand, mtanisahau, because I mean, when I put in the work, the more you see quality work, more than quantity, the more pia bayangu inaongezeka. Yeah, so it really grounded me, like, shape my career as an actor in the country.
Because imagine me, I've watched it 2 years later.
Exactly.
And I'm actually like, I was just intrigued. Mpaka I was like, what? I was just like, why is it only 6 episodes?
Exactly.
But it made so much sense. And then, like, even just for the lead characters, I think Benja, what's his name? Boogie. The lady Shiko.
Yeah.
Most of those people, I've been seeing them on social media. But like for your case, I wasn't seeing you on social media.
Exactly.
But it's because you don't post much of, like, the social media content. No. That's not you.
Yeah.
But for the other ones, I had seen, but I was like, I've never been interested to watch. Like,
exactly.
But now after watching that, I was just like, you know what?
Let me
just tap into this and understand it even more. And I think even like I think I've sent the other ones DMs invite as well. So make sure I just tell them, like, yo, it's a safe and nice space here.
For sure.
So